Hi guys, and welcome to another video this morning. I've just dropped the kids off at school, and so I'm back home now. I'm here on my own. Have a cup of tea. So what I was planning on doing this morning, I've been thinking about this for a few days now. I wanted to try and do this or do this. So today what I'm going to be doing is we've got a nice piece of gunmetal grey oak already pre-bent. I did this a couple of days ago, so it's all ready to go. If you want to see how I bend the veneers for the Bentwood rings, I've got a video that I did on that some time ago now. So yeah, if you want to go and check that one out first, and yeah, see how I do that. So what I want to do today is I want to do this dark gunmetal grey oak. I'm going to inlay some 1mm 925 sterling silver square wire into it, and also guitar string. We're going for a guitar string with it. I just wanted to see how the combo looked together, because the guitar string always looks like kind of a nice satin sort of finish, and with the silver, which will be like a nice shiny finish in there, I think it'll give quite a good contrast to it. So that's what I'm going to be getting up to this morning. I'm going to film it and see how it comes out. So yeah, so let's get into it. Sorry guys, I'm concentrating a bit there. I wasn't even talking on that, sorry. So yeah, I was just basically setting it up. What I'm going to do with this one is, because it's a 1mm wire, that's why I was offering the wire up to it, because it's a 1mm wire. I'd normally do 3 wrap rounds on one of these, but as it's 1mm wire, I'm going to go 4, just in case when I'm doing the channel, when I'm grooving the channel out, it just gives me that little bit extra, because I don't want to go straight through the whole thing, because it's quite close in how deep I'm going to have to go with it. So yeah, that's the reason why. So sorry guys, I'm just doing this in my kitchen this morning because I've got light. It's good lighting here coming from forwards and aside, so hopefully you can kind of see it okay, as it were. So I mean, this is kind of like the straightforward part, just getting it wrapped. I have done some videos on wrapping these things before, I think. But it's not too difficult really. See, what I'll do, I haven't feathered out that other end yet. I'll do that once I do a few more wraps. I'll get that feathered out then. I don't know, it's just the way I've been doing it for a little while now. So sorry, I'm using this little stand and it's kind of, I'm trying to get everything in here, but I might speed this video up, I don't know yet, because otherwise I'm going to be here for a couple of hours, I reckon. Now this gunmetal grey oak, this might take me a while to stick this down, because for some reason I reckon it's the dye in the wood. The glue seems to take quite a while to go off. So you sort of have to hold it there for ages before you go on to the next bit. Well, after the first bit anyway, because if I let that go too soon, it will just come away. The last thing you want is to have to then push that back down, because sometimes the glue blooms a little bit out the sides. It's not too much of a problem, but you just want to save yourself some issues really. This oak is really flexible actually. I don't know if it's actually 0.6, it might be slightly thinner than 0.6. It feels really flexy, like really pliable. Normally oak's not really like that, but right, let's see if that's stuck. That has actually stuck, so that's a good sign. Right. So I'm using the trusty bar for the socket set. Very handy things. I think what I'll do now, guys, is I'll speed this up. So yeah, so I won't talk anymore, because otherwise I'm going to sound like a chipmunk going along. So I'll just crack on and do this, and I'll start speeding the video up, I think. Well, actually, I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll pause the video and then I'll come back to you once this is all wrapped. Okay, so I'll see you in a sec. Okay, so that's all wrapped up, guys. It took a little while actually, to be fair. As I said, that it must be the dye in the wood. The CA doesn't really like sticking to it too well, and you have to hold it there for ages till you sort of move on to the next bit. So what we're going to do now is just slide this off of there and take out the masking tape. Just do it gently, because you don't want to split any of the edges and stuff. Peel that out. There's a bit of sticky left in there, but okay, so we've got our little blank. If you can see that, it's not really focusing that well. So we've got our little blank made up. So now we're going to mount it on the trusty mini lathe. Now my mini lathe is 4 years old now. Look at the amount of masking tape that's stuck all over that. So yeah, we're going to mount that on here. I'm hoping, because I think the last one I wrapped, the last one I wrapped was pretty much the same size. So I'm hoping, probably, yeah, hopefully I won't have to adjust this. Let's check it. Might have to a little bit, maybe. Yeah, we need to make it a little bit smaller. That ain't too bad. So I'll take a bit of that off. Hopefully that'll fit in there now. Still a little bit tight. Just take a tiny bit more off. Sometimes you take the smallest bit off and then it's too much and then you have to put half of it back on. So that's what I do, I take it off and stick it on there. The amount of times I have to strip all that off of there. Right, okay, so is that going to fit this time? It fits nice and tight, so now what I want to do to sort of square this up, I use these lines along here, and just by eye, as you go around, you can see if the actual ring is square to those. So I just get that square, because then you know that it's all going to be squared up. So the last thing you want is a wonky ring, as it were, you know. So that's looking pretty in line. So now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to sand the edge down on this side. So we've got a nice straight edge on that. And then what I'll do, while it's on there like that, I'll cut the other side. So then that's a straight line. Then I'll turn the ring round and then I'll sand that side down. So then we should have a completely squared ring. So we crack on with that. Normally what I use, a little piece of wood. These ones I get from, if you do painting on canvases, you get these little stretching blocks, normally in a little packet on the back of the canvases. My wife does a lot of painting, so and she sometimes uses these, but I normally nab them off her because they're a good size for, you know, holding your sandpaper on there and sanding the edges nice and flat. So I just normally hold the sandpaper on there like that, and then just sand the edges down. It makes it, you get them nice and flat. So I'll crack on with that, and yeah, we'll see how this one goes. So let's do that. Okay, so that is getting there. Needs to go back a little bit further, I think. You can normally tell when it's actually gone completely flat, because you'll feel it when that's on there like that. You'll just feel it all of a sudden go really smooth. So we'll sand that down a little bit more. Okay, that's looking all right now. So yeah, all I'm using is some 120 grit sandpaper on that, just to sand that down. See, now what I'll do is I'll turn this around, leave it on there the same way, and if I can find it, I didn't bring it in, my trusty knife. 2 seconds. Right, okay, I couldn't find me standing knife, so I'm going to use one of these craft knives instead. They work just as well, to be honest, so let's use that and get that edge cut off. I want to get this cut to around about 8mm wide, so what I'll do is I'll cut it roughly and then I'll sand it back to 8mm. So we've got to take about 1.5 mil off of that, so that's not too bad. So let's So that's gone through. Don't know if you saw that, but it jumped a bit over to start with. So it's put another little line on there, but it didn't go in very far. It only sort of scuffed it, so that'll come out when we sand it down anyway. So pull that off. Get this other bit off as well. Turn it around. It's quite tight on there still. Let's take a little bit more of that off. You want it tight enough, but you don't want it too tight, because otherwise it buckles up all the tape on there. Right. Is that any better? Let's have a look. There we go, that's better. Right, so again, now we've got to square that up. I think that's pretty much there. Okay, so let's just sand down that other edge. Slow that down a little bit. Right, so that's looking alright on that other edge. Let's just see how wide that is. I'll set this to 8mm. Perfect. Perfect 8mm. Right. Okay, so now we need to do some little grooves in it for these wires. So let me start this off. So I think what we'll do is we'll do the 1mm wire on the outside, I think. Or shall we do the guitar string? Guitar string nearer the edge. So I'm going to do it, I want to try and do it offset. I'll tell you what we do. Let's just do. Right, so I'm just using a mini file. This is like actually a rounded one, but it's quite pointy, so I'm just using that to get the initial groove in there. You can't really see it, can you? It's not focusing very well, so I'm just using that to get the initial groove in there, and then I'll start widening it out with some of the other files. I quite like using this one. This is kind of like, it tapers down, but it's a square one, so this is normally good for the wires, because you can get it pretty, you know, pretty bang on for width with the depth that you go with it. Right, so I'm going to crack on and do those two channels with my little files, and I shall be back in 2 minutes. Right, okay guys, that's the first channel I've got done. So this is for the silver square wire. So that's fitting in there perfectly. It sits just ever so slightly lower than the surface, which is good because I can sand, you know, you can sand back to it, so that's good. So what I think I'll do now, I'll just do the next channel for the guitar string next to it, and then what we'll do, we'll inlay the silver wire and then sand that back. And because of the guitar string, I'm going to do that last, because obviously I don't want to sand that, I don't want to sand the guitar string back or anything. I just want that in there as it is. So I'll do everything else first, and the guitar string will be the last thing I put in. So I'm going to get cracking with that. So I'm going to do the next channel for the guitar string, and I'll come back in 2 seconds once I've done that, and we shall put in the silver wire. So I'll see you in 2 secs. Okay, so that's both channels done. You might be able to see them. I can't really see them too. It's not really focusing that well. So I've done both channels. So what we're going to do now, I'll just take this off of here. So let's just move that to the side a minute. Right, now, silver wire. So it's 925 sterling silver. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to file down one edge, or one end, so it's nice and flat. Now, I'm struggling with this a bit this morning because I couldn't find my wire cutters this morning. So I'm using scissors. It cuts through it, but you end up having to file it a little bit more, should we say. I'll just use the mini files to file it down. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to do this and I'll come back to you in a sec, once I've got this done. So I'll see you in a second. Right then guys, so I've got the silver wire cut to length and everything. So now we just got to, I don't know, can you see that? It's not very focused, is it? Maybe if I come further away. Probably can't see it. Anyway, so we've got that nicely to length. So now the way I glue this in, it's probably not like what most other people do it as. What I tend to do, I hold the wire in there, the first bit, and then what I'll generally do is I'll pop on a little bit of accelerator, just a small bit, let that go, and then the tiniest little drop of the CA, then I'll get my trusty craft foam and just wipe that over the surface just to get it in there. Just so that holds that wire in. And then I'll just work my way around. I always do the same last, generally, anyway. I don't know how any of you guys do this, whether you've got an easier way that you do it or whatever. I mean, I know some people do it on the lathe. They do start with one end and work it round, but for me this is the way that I do it. So there's no right or wrong way, I don't think, to be fair, you know. And I'll pretty much do, well, I do it a little bit differently with the guitar string, I suppose. I don't generally glue the whole thing. I'll just do it in bits when I do the guitar string, but this has to be bang on really. So let's do that on the side here. And the idea is here, guys, is to get a nice tight seam on this as well. You need a nice tight seam on it, otherwise if you get a gap in it, it's not too much of an issue if there's a little bit of a gap in the seam. But I think that, you know, obviously the tighter you can get that, if you can get it to meet perfectly where the seam comes together like that, then it just looks nice. But it doesn't matter if there's a little gap there, it really don't. It's all part of the charm of a Bentwood ring, it really is. Right, so I'm just going to crack on and do this, finish up the rest of this one, and then we'll crack on with the guitar string. Right, so that's all in. That's all in there nice and tight with a minimal seam. I don't even know if you can see the seam, to be fair, on there. Minimal seam. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to sand this back now, and get all the get it all nicely sanded back, the wire all nicely shined up, and then we shall put the guitar string in. I might have to, the other groove for the guitar string, I might have to go a little bit deeper once I've sanded this back, but yeah, so that's gone in quite nicely. So I'll just get on, sand that back, and then we'll crack on with a guitar string. Right, so we've got that all sanded back now, and I've started actually sort of polishing it up, polishing that silver up, just running through the grits of sandpaper basically. You know, running through 400, but you don't want to touch the wood when you're polishing this up, so you just want to concentrate on the actual wire itself. I've just been going through the grits here, 600, 800, 1000. I'm just going to hit it with some 2500 now. Okay, so I'll hit that to 2000 for the minute. So it's come up quite shiny. What you don't want to do is put too much pressure on that when you're doing it. Just do it lightly. Just literally lay the sandpaper on there really, and it kind of polishes it up. I mean, you can kind of just about make out how shiny that's got there. Right, so now it's on to the guitar string. Now I'm not sure what this is. I think this isn't the biggest one. I think this is a 0.8. So the groove I've put in now needs to be deeper. So, but what I'll do first with a guitar string is we'll normally wrap it around something first. So if you take a pencil or something like that, what I'll do is I'll just wrap it quite tight around that. Because these are buggers, otherwise you don't want to be putting it in just normally. So, and then you'll end up with it being coily like that, you see. So that'll then just makes it easier to put in the groove channel. So I need to make this channel a little bit deeper and a little bit wider. So I'm going to crack on with that, and then we'll put the guitar string in. Right, so we've got the guitar string channel done. Guitar string is now, it's cut to length. So let me just move that over there a minute. Right, so what I'll generally do with a guitar string is I will glue one end first. Okay, so I'll normally, I'll glue one end first, just the tiniest little bit on there, Right, I'll glue one end first. Now depending on what the how deep I go with the guitar string, sometimes I go a little bit deeper so it's kind of flush. This one I'm leaving a little bit raised. If I was going flush in there, I would use one of my little mini files, the end of it, just to hold this in here while it dries. But as I'm leaving it a bit proud, I'm using a cocktail stick, because when you push it on, it kind of forms over the top of it. I don't want to damage the string. I'm hopeful for this today, guys. It doesn't always work. As you guys well know. Right, I'm just going to put a little bit of accelerator on that as well. Right, then what I'm going to do, I'm just going to do a tiny little bit more. Just over the top. Just either side. Like that. Just let that go off. I actually might use a little bit of accelerator just to make sure that's in there. Right, now we'll run that round. And that is actually a little bit too long. Not by much. What we'll do, hopefully that'll hold in there. Just trim it down a fraction, but not too much. Let's get a little bit of that off. Sorry for my dodgy editing and stuff on these videos, guys. I'm not very up with the technical stuff, so I just literally filming it on my phone, and then I put it through an app called U-Cut normally, and just sort of tie it all together and bits and pieces, and then upload it to YouTube. I'm not, you know, I haven't got any fancy cameras or anything like that, as you can probably tell. Well, that's still a little bit too long. Thought it would have gone in there now. It's only a little bit, guys. Let's take a titchy little bit more off. It's a bummer I've got to use these scissors, because it makes it so much easier with a pair of little small wire cutters, but they're broken, and that's all I've got to use this morning. So use what you've got, guys. Use what you've got. Right, okay, see if that'll fit now. Oh, it's still slightly, ever so slightly. The thing with these guitar strings, they take a little bit to file down as well. Hope you're finding this interesting, guys. It's a nice day out here today in Cornwall, I tell you. Let's put this up a little bit. You know, it's for the start of March. I think it's about 4 years ago now, we had snow this time of the year. But today it's nice and sunny. And I've been watching this little, we've got some mirrors out on the wall out in the back garden, and there's this little coal tit. He comes there every day and he kind of dances to himself in the mirror. It's really funny, and he starts pecking at the mirror. He's there for ages this morning. He's gone now, I think. Yeah. But it's like he's doing some sort of dance for the ladies, as it were, you know. But there's no ladies around. But he likes them mirrors. He's a bit of a tart. Right, so that's that. I think that's gonna... Yeah, so that will go in there. I'm just gonna have to tweak the end of this a little bit because it's sort of going a little bit weird. Try it now. So once this is in, I'll probably have to go back over that silver thing just to polish it up a little bit more again. Is that going to go in there? Oh, it's going to go in there, guys. Come on. There we go. Right. Okay, so now I'm just going to glue a bit more around it, I think. That blast with a bit of accelerator. I need a little bit. Don't want it going all bloomy and horrible there. You know. This ain't looking too bad actually. Looking forward to seeing this one finished up as it goes. I've not done, well, I've done guitar strings and obviously silver wires before, but if you're in the UK and you're after silver wire, like the square wire especially, or copper square wire, check out Cooks on Gold. They got stacks on there, stacks of different ones, different widths, round ones, square ones, and they're really reasonable as well. Right, okay, so we're down to that last little seam bit now, so let's whack a little bit in there. Bit of accelerator on that. That going. Okay. Oh, nearly knocked me CA over then. So there we've got the guitar string in, and the I think you can probably see this further away. I don't know. Got the guitar string in and the silver. You can't really see it that well. So yeah, so that's basically as it stands at the moment. So what I think I'm going to do is just quickly go over that silver the silver wire again, just polish it up a little bit more, and then we will give it a nice shiny CA finish. Now I've done a video on how to do the CA finish. I did that a long time ago. Well, I say a long time ago, it's probably last year actually. So if you want to go and find that, you can see how I CA finish these things. But what I'll do, I'll get this finished up either today or tomorrow, and I'll post a picture of it on my Instagram, so you can all see the finished ring. Just trying to think if there's anything else, guys, that might be helpful to you. No, but that's basically it. And this is, you know, I'm quite pleased with how that's coming on this morning. I think for, I don't know, a 1mm wide wire, silver wire does look quite good. I think maybe a 0.8 or a 0.6 might look nice. So it matches the sort of width for the guitar string a bit more evenly. But no, I think it's kind of quite a good. I think once it's finished up, I think it'll look okay. But we'll see. We will see, my friends. We will see. Anyway, guys, I hope it's been helpful to you today. Yeah, if you've got any questions or anything like that, just drop a comment in the comment section, and I'll answer as best I can, as always. Yeah, and don't forget to subscribe, guys, because I've noticed I think it's about 94% of people that watch my videos aren't subscribed to the channel. So all you got to do is just hit that subscribe button, hit the notification button, and that greatly helps me out. And that would be really fantastic if you could do that. I really appreciate it. Okay, guys, so I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. Good luck with your ring making. Take care, and I'll see you soon. Bye for now.